I'm Mary McGann. I live in St Luke's in Cheltenham. I've lived in Cheltenham for 40 years. I'm originally from Northern Ireland, and in Northern Ireland we do not have a problem with water. No, at all the water stations, the police have had problems with people taking vast quantities of bottled water, much more than their allowance, and that has led to some very nasty scenes. We had vast rain for 24 hours, heavy rain, and as it was only 3 or 4 weeks from the last lot of heavy rain, within 2 hours or so the gutters were running with water because the drains couldn't take it away. This continued, and by the Friday afternoon roads were flooded, roads were impassable, and I believe Tewkesbury was fully underwater. There were warnings on the radio that water might be short then. I didn't go out to buy any until Saturday, but by that time places were closed, everywhere was flooded. A road parallel to mine, which had been flooded 3 weeks previously, was again flooded. You couldn't get into the hospital, so that road was closed.
I think that particular road was closed because £23 million was spent on a flood defence system. Now this flood defence system, places were now being flooded that it's never been flooded before. Now if this is a case of being one of the 80, once in 80 or once in 100 years, perhaps now it's that they've changed their minds to 200 years. And I think something ought to be looked at to see whether the flood defences were active, and if they were active, then why was so many places flooded? It's never been flooded before, because the water seemed to come from Sanford Park and not from the River Chelt. The River Chelt was still down below the banks, but the water was coming down the field from the flood defences. It came down the road like a river, but first we've got the pavement, and then we've got a big step to the first step into our property. Had it come higher than that, then it would have been down in the basement. But all along the street, the same thing happened, you know.
You have to get... First, we had a bowser. Most of the time it had water, so we used that water to flush the toilet, which was the great priority. We used bottled water for cooking and making tea and washing up, and the rest we had the minimum of washing, you know, sort of a damp flannel all over the body.
It's very difficult when you have to take water, you know, upstairs, especially when you're old people like us. I mean, this is the third time that I've been through this in my lifetime. The first one was at the end of the war, of course, and then again in 47, and again at 63. But so really, I'm more used to it than my wife, who never suffers from water. People keep saying greenhouse gases and that, but I'm one of those, believe it or not, that believe that this is just a natural cycle of things. If the scientists can go through, and they have done, and checked it, it's a natural cycle of things. And every so often the Earth does suffer this kind of change. Maybe it is exasperated by the global warming, I don't know. But I'm sure our 1% of this country doesn't compare to China's 40 or 50 or 60% of carbon dioxide being pumped into the air.
I have been very able to get to the bowser, which was near me, and to come to places like this to get water. But people have been coming to our door. Do you need something? That my neighbour next door brought 2 buckets of water the other morning from the bowser, and she's just a little younger than me.
Well, I've spent my time. It's given me something to do, because like this morning, I'm dashing out to get water for someone who's in a dire strait. The wife is suffering from Parkinson's, and the husband have just had quadruple bypass and can't get about. So we've been more as caring for those, plus 2 or 3 other old people across near us, you know.
Because we're not old. I'm not a neighbour person. I say hello to my neighbours, but I don't visit like that. But now I'm talking to people. I said to a lady yesterday, I've got water. Strange woman I'd never seen. And she didn't think that was strange. She said, you're lucky.
We nearly had our bowser stolen. If it hadn't been for the people around our area, the bowser would actually have been stolen. A Land Rover pulled up and hitched up to it, but was kind of stopped a bit quick. I think People can say what they like about the police, the fire brigade, the ambulance service, the army, but without those, we would have been in real dire stress. Especially the army. I think their logistics was absolutely brilliant. The police has been, wonderful people. They've guarded everything and stopped trouble. The fire brigade, well, you can't say anything about them. I mean, they're all heroes. Every single one of them. Anyone around, they're all heroes.